There's a moment every man reaches after the chaos, after the begging, after the sleepless nights where he finally exhales and just stops caring. It doesn't happen dramatically. There's no announcement, no closure, no declaration of strength. It happens quietly, maybe in the middle of a random day when you realize her absence doesn't ache anymore, when you stop checking your phone, when you no longer replay what you could have said differently. That's the moment everything changes, not just for you, but for her too. Because whether she admits it or not, she can feel it. Women can always feel when your energy leaves, and that's the day the game she built around your emotions starts to collapse. See, what most women never understand is that indifference is louder than anger. Silence is more powerful than words. When you cared, she could read you. She knew how to trigger reactions, how to make you chase, how to keep you emotionally entangled. But the day you stop responding, not out of spite, but out of peace, everything she relied on starts to crumble. Because her validation came from knowing she mattered to you, from knowing she could still influence how you feel. But when she realizes her name no longer shakes your heart, that her silence no longer controls your mood, that's when she feels the one thing she was trying to avoid: insignificance. It doesn't hit her immediately. At first, she confuses your calm for pretense. She assumes you're playing a game, trying to make her jealous or prove a point. So she waits. She posts something subtle, something she knows you'll notice. Maybe a story meant to get a reaction. Maybe a text just to test your pulse. But when your reply doesn't come, when your silence remains effortless, that's when the confusion begins. She doesn't know how to process a version of you that doesn't crave her attention. The same man who once explained, pleaded, justified, now doesn't even flinch. That's when realization sets in. Slowly, painfully, she starts replaying the moments when you still cared, when she had your time, your energy, your attention, and she remembers how much she took it for granted. Every ignored call, every delayed text, every cold reaction, she thought she was asserting power, but all she was really doing was depleting the last of your emotional investment. And now that it's gone, she realizes she's standing in the emptiness she created. The attention she once weaponized has disappeared, and she doesn't know how to exist without it. The shift is subtle, but she feels it everywhere. Your name stops showing up in her notifications. Your energy stops orbiting around hers. The dynamic that once fed her ego dissolves into silence, and that silence feels heavier than any argument ever did, because deep down she knows this isn't temporary. This isn't a phase. This isn't you trying to win her back through absence. This is permanent detachment, the kind that comes from exhaustion, not anger. The kind that happens when a man stops hoping, and that's the day she realizes what she truly lost. Not your love, but your presence. At first, she'll deny it. She'll convince herself she's fine, that she doesn't care either. She'll tell her friends, he was never that special anyway. But those words will echo hollow. Because even as she says them, she'll scroll back through old conversations. She'll reread your messages, not because she misses you, but because she misses how they made her feel. She'll try to recreate that connection elsewhere, with someone new, maybe, but it won't hit the same. Because what you gave her wasn't attention, it was safety. And that kind of energy doesn't come around twice. What breaks her most isn't your absence, it's your indifference. She'll realize she can't provoke you anymore. Her silence, her flirtations, her games, they no longer work, and the human ego can handle rejection better than irrelevance. When she was angry at you, she still felt power, but when you stopped reacting altogether, she felt erased. You see, anger keeps a bond alive, but indifference severs it completely. That's what she's feeling now, not heartbreak, but powerlessness. The kind that keeps her up at night, wondering when the man she could once control became untouchable. The irony is that your silence will teach her more about love than your words ever did. It'll make her confront the reality that attention isn't infinite, that when you take someone for granted long enough, they don't just walk away, they evolve. Your detachment becomes her lesson, and it's not a lesson in pain, it's a lesson in consequence. Because the thing she never expected was that you'd stop trying. She always believed you'd stay available, waiting for her to decide. But when you stopped waiting, when you stopped trying, when you finally walked in a direction she couldn't follow, she realized she mistook your patience for permanence. This is the part where life plays its cruelest trick. She'll start missing you the most when you've already healed. When you no longer check on her, when you no longer replay her voice in your mind, when you no longer wonder if she'll come back, because she'll come looking for traces of the man she left behind, only to find that he no longer exists. You didn't become colder, you became wiser. You didn't stop feeling, you just stopped explaining. You learned that peace isn't found in being understood, it's found in no longer needing to be. You'll notice it too. That strange shift, where her absence no longer hurts, it just feels irrelevant. The same silence that once crushed you, now comforts you. You start to enjoy your own company again. You rediscover the small things, the music you love, the focus you lost, the stillness you used to avoid. You realize that peace was waiting for you on the other side of chaos. You stop associating her with loss and start associating her with clarity, because her leaving didn't break you, it introduced you to yourself. That's when you become dangerous, not in a cruel way, but in a composed one. You're not seeking revenge, you're not trying to make her jealous. You're simply existing in a way that doesn't include her, and that's what shakes her to her core, because now she can feel the distance that no message can close. You've emotionally disconnected, and that's irreversible. She can't charm you anymore, she can't guilt you, she can't reattach herself to your energy. You've become a mystery again, not because you're hiding, but because she can't reach you anymore. She'll start seeing your calm as confidence. The man she once saw as too emotional, too available, now appears steady, composed, desirable. She'll wonder when that shift happened, when the same heart she thought she could toy with became something sacred, guarded, selective, untouchable. That realization cuts deep because it exposes her mistake. She didn't just lose a man, she lost her access to stability. You were her anchor, even when she treated you like an option. And now that you've drifted away, she's learning what real detachment feels like. The irony is that your peace will haunt her far longer than your pain ever did. Pain fades, peace echoes. Every time she meets a new man, she'll subconsciously compare his energy to yours. The way you listened, the calm in your presence, the way you loved without ego. She'll search for that again, but she won't find it, because men like you are rare, the kind who lead with both heart and restraint. The kind who can love deeply but walk away quietly when disrespected. You've become the reference point for everything she didn't understand when she had you. She'll eventually try to return. Not always physically, but energetically. Maybe a text, maybe a nostalgic comment, maybe a random "I've been thinking about you." But you'll see right through it. It's not love, it's curiosity. It's ego. It's her trying to confirm that she still matters. But you'll feel nothing. No rush, no emotion, no spark. Just neutrality. And that neutrality is what destroys her. Because in that moment, she'll realize she's talking to a man who no longer lives in the past. She's talking to someone who's mastered detachment, who's built peace so pure that her presence feels unnecessary. And that's the ultimate truth. You didn't stop caring because you wanted to. You stopped caring because you had to. You reached your limit. You gave everything you had. Patience, understanding, forgiveness, until there was nothing left to give. And in that emptiness, you found strength. Because real strength isn't found in chasing what's running away, it's found in walking away with grace. You didn't lose her, you outgrew her. You didn't fail at love, you simply refused to keep loving where love had no place to grow. When she realizes this, it won't be through words, it'll be through energy. She'll feel it when she scrolls past your profile and senses that you're no longer reachable. When she hears your name and it doesn't carry the same familiarity. When she realizes she no longer knows what's happening in your world. That distance, that absence of access will gnaw at her. Because women crave emotional presence more than anything. And the moment they lose it, they begin to feel what they once made you feel: invisible. That's how karma really works. Not through punishment, but through reflection. She'll experience her own silence turned against her. The same way you used to wait for her texts, she'll now stare at her phone, wondering if she should message you. The same way you overthought her mixed signals, she'll now replay your indifference, trying to decode it. But she won't find closure, because closure only exists when both people are still attached. And you, my friend, have already moved on. You won't even realize when the shift became complete. One day, you'll just feel lighter. You'll see her name and feel nothing. Not bitterness, not longing, just peace. And that peace will feel like power. Not because you conquered her, but because you conquered yourself. You learned how to stay kind without being naive, how to care without being consumed, how to let go without losing love. You learned that not everything broken needs fixing, some things need leaving. And here's what's beautiful: when you stop caring, the world opens up. You start attracting people who match your energy. You start creating instead of overthinking. You start living instead of waiting. The energy you used to spend trying to fix someone now goes into building yourself. Your health improves, your focus returns, your confidence grows. Because indifference isn't emptiness, it's freedom. It's the state of being where you finally realize that peace was never supposed to depend on someone else's consistency. When she finally realizes you don't care anymore, it'll humble her in a way no argument ever could. She'll understand that your silence wasn't manipulation, it was acceptance, that your calm wasn't pride, it was self-respect. She'll remember every chance she had to make things right, and every time she chose ego instead. And she'll finally see that you didn't walk away because you stopped loving her. You walked away because you start loving yourself. It will dawn on her that love without respect always ends like this, quietly, not in explosions, but in stillness. Because real endings don't need noise. They just need clarity, and your clarity will be her undoing. She'll realize too late that all her power depended on your care, that your emotion was the engine behind the entire connection, and the moment you stopped fueling it, everything stopped moving. That's when she'll understand the man she thought would always be there is gone, and he's never coming back. You'll look back someday and see that this was always meant to happen, because detachment isn't the death of love. It's the evolution of it. It's what happens when you stop confusing intensity with intimacy. When you realize that peace doesn't need to be exciting to be fulfilling. You stop chasing highs and start craving harmony. You stop seeking validation and start embodying value. And once you reach that place, no woman's silence will ever scare you again. Her memory will fade, slowly, like a photograph left in the sun. What once felt heavy will feel distant. What once consumed your thoughts will barely flicker in your mind. And the best part, you won't even resent her. You'll simply understand that she played her part in your awakening. That without her games, her distance, her indifference, you might have never discovered your boundaries. Her leaving was never loss, it was liberation. And now, when you meet someone new, you won't love the same way. Not colder, but wiser. You'll know how to give without losing yourself. How to listen without absorbing chaos. How to love without expectation. Because your heart didn't close, it just matured. It learned that caring deeply is beautiful, but caring endlessly is destructive. And that's the lesson you'll carry forever, that love should never cost you your peace. So when she finally realizes you don't care anymore, it won't be about revenge or regret, it'll be about release. You'll smile, not because you won, but because you survived. Because you stayed kind in a world that tried to make you bitter. Because you found calm where she left chaos. You'll walk away quietly, knowing that you became everything she couldn't appreciate, and everything she'll spend the rest of her life remembering.